There's something frustrating about manifestation that no one talks about. You can affirm, visualize, and script for months, but if deep down you still feel like the same person who doesn't have it, nothing changes. It's as if you're running in circles, hoping reality will shift while you remain stuck in the same loop. And that's because manifestation isn't about getting something, it's about becoming someone. Not through effort, not through force, but through the simple realization that the version of you who already has it exists now. You're not creating them, you're stepping into them. And when you do, manifestation stops feeling like a battle and starts feeling inevitable. In the last video, we talked about the biggest overlooked principle in Neville Goddard's teachings, the idea that you don't need to wait for proof, that your desires don't come from becoming worthy of them, but from stepping into the self-image of already having them. But what does that actually mean? How do you shift into that version of yourself so effortlessly that reality has no choice but to reflect it back? That's what we're diving into today. The biggest reason you feel stuck is because you're waiting for external confirmation before you allow yourself to believe. You're waiting for movement before you give yourself permission to feel different. But identity doesn't work that way. You don't wait for proof to become someone. You simply decide you are them. Think about it. When you wake up in the morning, you don't wonder if you're still you. You don't check the mirror to make sure you're the same person as yesterday. Your habits, thoughts, and emotions match who you believe yourself to be without effort. You assume them. And because you assume them, everything flows naturally. But when it comes to manifesting, people tend to abandon this natural way of being. Instead of assuming their new reality, they constantly check for evidence, seeking proof that something is changing before they allow themselves to believe. This creates a cycle of doubt, frustration, and resistance. Imagine if every morning you woke up and questioned whether you were still you. If you kept checking the mirror, doubting your own identity, your sense of self would feel unstable. This is exactly what happens when you keep questioning whether your manifestation is working. The moment you question, you reaffirm the old version of yourself, the one who doesn't have it yet. This is why manifestation feels so difficult when you see yourself as someone who doesn't have it yet. Every affirmation, every visualization, every effort you make to manifest is filtered through the lens of lack. You're not being the person who already has it. You're being the person trying to get it. And as long as that's your state of being, your reality will mirror it back. Think of it like tuning into a radio station. If you want to listen to a specific frequency, you don't sit there wondering if the signal will change on its own. You simply turn the dial to the right station. Your reality works the same way. The version of you that has what you desire is already broadcasting on a specific frequency. Your job isn't to wait for the frequency to shift. Your job is to shift yourself to match it. But how do you do that? By fully stepping into the identity of the version of you who already has what you want. This doesn't mean forcing yourself to believe blindly. It means embodying that reality through your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Ask yourself, how does the version of me who already has this think? How do they feel? What do they do on a daily basis? When you begin to live from that place rather than trying to get to it, you collapse the gap between where you are and where you want to be. The truth is, you're always manifesting. The question is, are you manifesting from a state of having or a state of lacking? If you're constantly aware of what's missing, your reality will continue to reflect that. But the moment you assume your new identity, without hesitation, everything around you starts to shift. Reality has no choice but to conform to your assumption. It's not about waiting for proof. It's about knowing that the proof will come once you fully become the version of yourself who already has it. Here's what most people get wrong about identity shifting. They think it's about changing themselves, that they need to become a new person, rewire their subconscious mind, or force themselves into new behaviors. But identity shifting isn't about creating something new. It's about remembering who you already are. The version of you that has everything you want is not some distant version you have to chase. It already exists, right now. The only reason you're not experiencing their life is because you keep identifying with a different version of yourself. Most people approach manifestation as if they are sculpting something out of thin air, as if they need to struggle and work hard to build a new reality from scratch. But manifestation isn't about effort in the way most people think. It's not about force. It's about alignment. You're not becoming someone new. You're removing the layers of doubt, fear, and conditioning that make you believe you're not already them. Think of it like a radio signal. The station you want is already broadcasting, but if you're tuned into the wrong frequency, you won't hear it. It's not that the station doesn't exist. It's just that you're not aligned with it yet. Neville Goddard put it simply, you are already that which you want to be. And your refusal to believe this is the only reason you do not see it. The struggle isn't in shifting, it's in letting go of the old identity that keeps you attached to the version of you who doesn't have it. The moment you stop giving life to that version, the new one takes over effortlessly. But here's where most people get stuck. They think letting go means trying to erase the old self through effort. They try to fight their current thoughts, resist their emotions, and force new beliefs into place. But resistance only reinforces what you're trying to let go of. Letting go isn't about fighting, it's about surrendering. It's about no longer giving attention to the identity that contradicts your desires. The old version of you only exists because you keep feeding it with your thoughts, emotions, and actions. The moment you stop identifying with it, it fades away. Think about a role an actor plays in a movie. Once the movie is over, they stop acting as that character. They don't need to fight to stop being them, they simply drop the role. You can do the same with your current identity. So, what does this look like in practice? It means embodying the version of yourself who already has what you want, moment by moment. It means catching yourself when you slip back into the old story and gently redirecting your focus. It means making decisions as if you were already the person you desire to be. Not forcing it, just assuming it. Just like you assume the sun will rise tomorrow. The shift happens the moment you stop waiting for external proof and start living from the inner knowing that you already are who you want to be. And when you do that, the world around you has no choice but to reflect it back. You don't have to force this shift. You don't have to convince yourself. You only have to observe how natural it already is. Think of a time you changed in a way that felt instant. Maybe you got a new job, entered a new relationship, or had a sudden realization that changed how you saw yourself. It wasn't something you had to try to do, it just happened. One moment, you were one version of yourself, and the next, you weren't. For example, imagine someone who has always seen themselves as shy and reserved. Then, one day, they find themselves in a situation where they have to take charge. Maybe they're leading a meeting or standing up for someone they care about. In that moment, they aren't thinking about being shy or questioning their ability to be confident. They just are. They step into that role effortlessly because the situation demands it. And once they experience that shift, it's hard to go back to seeing themselves as entirely shy. A new version of them has emerged, and it wasn't through force, it was through stepping into a different self-concept. This is what happens when you fully step into a new self-concept. You don't try to think differently, you just do. You don't try to act differently, you just do. And the people around you start treating you accordingly because the world is only ever reflecting what you assume to be true about yourself. If you wake up tomorrow fully convinced that you are successful, confident, and deserving of love, everything around you will begin to reorganize to match that assumption. But here's the key. This shift doesn't happen because the world changes first. It happens because you change first. Too many people are waiting for evidence before they believe in their new identity. They want external validation, money in the bank, a text from their specific person, or compliments from others before they allow themselves to feel different. But that's backward. The world can only mirror what you believe, not the other way around. Think of a thermostat. If you set it to a specific temperature, the environment adjusts to match. It doesn't argue. It doesn't resist. It simply follows the command. Your reality works the same way. The moment you internally set your self-concept, your identity, everything else must shift to reflect it. The world doesn't have a choice because it has no power outside of what you assume to be true. So instead of waiting, start living from your desired identity now. Walk, talk, think, and feel as if you already are that person. Not with effort, not with force, but with the same natural ease as you would anything else in your life. You don't question your name when someone calls you. You don't hesitate to respond. That's how deeply embedded your new self-concept should be. And once it is, manifestation is no longer something you try to do. It's just who you are. Right now, ask yourself, who would I be if I already had it? How would I think? How would I feel? What would I assume about myself? And here's the key. Don't just answer these questions. Step into them. Right now. Not tomorrow. Not when you see proof. The shift is not something that happens gradually over time. It's something you allow in an instant. The reason it feels hard is because you keep going back to the old version of yourself by doubting, checking for results, or waiting for something outside of you to validate it. Most people don't realize that they are constantly reinforcing their old identity by habit. The moment you check to see if something has changed, you're reaffirming that it hasn't. The moment you doubt whether your manifestation is working, you're stepping back into the version of yourself that doesn't have it. Every time you feel the urge to look for proof, remind yourself, if I truly believed it was done, would I be looking for signs? The answer is no. The version of you who already has it isn't searching for validation. They're simply living their life. Neville called this living in the end. But living in the end doesn't mean hoping for the best while secretly believing you don't have it. It means deciding, right now, that it's done. That you are already that person. Not because reality has shown it to you, but because you know the truth, reality follows you. Not the other way around. You must fully embody the identity of the person who already has what they desire, and the world will shape itself to match. This is why the most powerful transformations happen when people stop trying and start being. There's a moment when you simply drop the struggle and settle into the knowing that it's already yours. And ironically, this is the moment when everything starts shifting rapidly. The people who get the fastest results are the ones who stop looking at time, stop checking for movement, and stop negotiating with reality. They don't say, "I will believe it when I see it." They say, "I believe it, so I will see it." So, what does living in the end look like in practice? It means embodying the emotions, thoughts, and behaviors of your desired self now. It means walking with certainty, not desperation. It means waking up each morning and choosing to live from your new self-concept, regardless of what external reality appears to show. And it means trusting that the external world must conform because that's simply how reality works. You don't need to fight for it. You don't need to struggle. You only need to decide. And when you do, reality has no choice but to rearrange itself accordingly. The moment you step into the new identity, things begin to rearrange. You'll notice small things at first. Your thoughts start aligning with the new version of you, your emotions feel lighter, and things that once felt like a struggle seem effortless. And then, external reality catches up. People treat you differently. Opportunities show up. The very thing you once tried to manifest comes to you, not because you chased it, but because you embodied the version of you who already has it. But here's the most powerful part. When you shift identity, you no longer feel attached to whether or not something manifests. You don't feel desperate. You don't need proof. Because the version of you who already has it doesn't obsess over it. They don't wonder when it will come. They don't need signs. They are simply living their life, knowing it's already theirs. And because they know, it comes. Right now, stop trying. Stop waiting. Stop checking. Instead, close your eyes and feel it. You already know what it feels like to be them. That version of you exists within you now. And the only thing keeping you from experiencing their life is your own attachment to an outdated identity. The second you drop it, the second you decide to be the person who already has it, everything changes. This isn't about effort. It's about assumption. It's about knowing that who you are now is a choice. And in every moment, you have the power to choose differently. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Because the second you do, the world has no choice but to follow. But here's the thing. Most people unknowingly hold on to a belief that blocks this shift. The belief that they must change or become worthy before receiving their desires. If you've ever felt like something is stopping you from manifesting what you want, this could be the reason. In my last video, I broke down exactly how this hidden belief keeps you stuck and how shifting your self-image removes the struggle completely. Click on the first video that now appears on the end screen to watch it.